So in today's session, we'll see cross-validation rules. Cross-validation rules. You can call it as CVR. So we have tested data access set. What we did, we given the different privileges to balance and segment values and we tested. Right? For 3000 we given read and write. For 1000, 2000 we given read only. And we given access to specific user. That user is able to access to these three balance and segment values for 1000 and 2000 to see existing transactions only, but with the 3000 this user is able to create the transactions. So this is what we tested. Now we'll see the data access cross validation rules concept. What does it mean by cross validation rules? We'll discuss. Now, by using our chart of accounts, or say by using our primary ledger, we can record transactions with any code combination. You can choose any company, any department, any account, any other segment values. But if you want to restrict that selection of any values, we can set cross validation rules. That means which code combinations are invalid, those you can define in the chart of accounts. Within our chart of accounts, which code combinations are not allowed to record the transactions, those you can set up by using the cross validation rules so that users cannot use those code combinations to create the transactions. Simply we can say by using the cross validation rules, we can set invalid code combinations. By using the cross validation rules, we can set invalid code combinations so that users cannot record the transactions with the same code combination. Say for example, you have a company called as 1000. With the company 1000, and there should not be transaction with the department 3000. That means for company 1000, there is no department called as 3000. Or else with the company 1000, so and so accounts are not valid. There is no scope where company 1000 can involve in the business transaction with some list of accounts. So this is how you can, or else company department account, or else multiple segment combination also you can select and you can define the cross validation rules. Now what we'll do is we'll take the simple case. Say if you are going to record the transaction of the company 1000, you want to make department 2000 as invalid. That rule you can define. Combination we are setting. With the company 1000, department 2000 is invalid. You want to set this rule. So that you can say with company 1000, department 2000 is invalid. Okay. With the company 1000, department 2000 is invalid. We are setting this combination. Company 1000 and 2000, this combination as invalid. Rest of segments values we are not specifying. Account can be anything, project can be anything, future values can be anything. We are not including those into this invalid code combination. Simply we are setting if company is 1000, department should not be 2000. If anybody is trying to select the department as 2000 along with the company 1000, system should not allow. So this is how we can set a rules by using the cross validations concept. So here first what we have to do. So we have to create the cross validation rule. So create cross validation rule. And we have to deploy the accounting flex field also. So deploy accounting flex field. Then you can create journal to test it. To test the same, you can create the journal. First, we'll go and create the cross validation rule, including this rule. Okay, with company 1000, department 2000 is invalid. Then go to our implementation project. Task list, manage implementation projects. Search for cross validation rules. Cross validation rules. You have to search with the term called as cross-validation rules. Click on any one of the tasks. Click on go. These cross-validation rules are applicable in all the applications. The last session, data access that we discussed, this is applicable here only for our ledger. Okay, only for our ledger only. For which user you are assigning the data access set. So only for that user is that is applicable. That too in the GL application itself. But cross-validation rules are applicable for all the applications. This combination you cannot choose in GL, API, or in any other application. Okay, that's how it is applicable. Here we are not assigning to the user anything. Directly we are going to create the cross-validation rules on our chart of account structure. Okay, so this is applicable in all the applications. Okay. Now what we can do is, ideally if you click on create, it should support. Let's see here how it is. It is not responding. See. Then what you can do is, you can select our chart of account structure instance here. This is our chart of account structure instance. Okay, after selecting this chart of account structure instance here, you can proceed with the cross validation rules creation. After selecting, you can click on create. Now it is allowing us to create. Right. So here you can give the name. I'm giving CVR, we are creating for company 1000. CVR 1000, I'm giving the name. And what is the description for CVR? This is a description. I'm going to copy the same. With company 1000, department 2000 is invalid. You can just enable it. Date selection is not required. If you want to select, you can select, but ideally not required. You may select. And condition. Here, if company is 1000, with what value it has to validate. With the department, it should be validated. Now click on search. Okay, you can go with any combination or a single value. I want to go with only company. Select company. If company is equal to 1000. Okay. Here click on search. The condition is department is not equal to 2000. So here you can say does not equal. Department does not equal to 2000. Say okay. If any user will try to create any transaction with this combination, company 1000, department 2000, what message it should display? Okay, here you can write it. Okay. What message? 1000, if 2000 is going to be selected, system has to show some message. The same message you want to display. Okay. This message system will display for the users when they record the transaction. Done. The same way you can create the multiple rules here. Just we are creating one rule. In the same way you can create multiple rule. Again, the multiple rules you can create for multiple segments also. Here we are creating for only two segments. You can include a few additional segments also along with the company. You may say accounts, etc. You can add, but not required. This is enough to understand. So say save and close. Now we are creating this against our chart of account structure. Ideally, this need to be deployed. This should be deployed. Like in this instance, the deployment process taking too much time. We'll go and check once. Okay, we'll sign out and we'll try whether that is going to reflect or not. We'll see if it is going to reflect or else we'll submit for deployment and we'll proceed with our other concept. Meantime, that would be deployed and we can test it. So go to journal creation page to verify this cross validation rule. Say create journal. Okay. Account, you can choose any account. There is no rule for account, intercompany, project, etc. We have rule for company and department. If company is 1,000, department should not be 2,000. Say okay. Okay. If it is going to work, okay, or else you have to submit for a deployment. I think it is functioning. Now you can see it is not accepting this 2,000. Even if you say okay again, is not taking. In the background, you can see the message. Error. This combination is invalid. What is the issue? A message also be given in the cross validation rules. With company 1,000, department 2,000 is invalid. Company 1,000, department 2,000 is invalid. That is a message. You can try once again. The same message. This is the rule is enforced. Okay, the rule whatever we created, that is working. Now you may change the department or company, it will work. Okay, you may select company 2,000, it will work. You may change the department to 1,000 or 3,000, it will work. There is no cross validation rule, okay, for this company and department. 1,000 and 1,000 we don't have. We have a cross validation rule for company 1,000, department 2,000, not with 1,000. Now if you say okay, it will accept. Yeah. So this is all about cross validation rules. So if you come across this functionality is not working, you submit for a deployment. Okay, just make a note. So deployment also we have to do. But just you create the rule and you sign out and you try to verify that. If it is going to function okay or else you can submit for deployment. You can, if required, you can do the deployment. Okay. So that's all about cross-validation rules. So hope you are clear on this data access set and the cross-validation rule. Data access set is only applicable for balancing segment values, not applicable for a department. You cannot set data access set function. You cannot implement data access functionality for a department or account or any other segment values. Only for company, I mean to say balancing segment values only, the data access set is applicable. When you talk about cross-validation rules, for certain code combination, a combination may be with the two segments or three segments or four or all. With certain code combination, this we set at code combinations level. Okay, so this is for specific balance segment values. This is for specific code combinations we can set. So data access set. So what we are doing, just we are creating. Okay, data access we are creating and we are assigning to specific user roles. But cross-validation rules, just we are creating, we are not assigning to any user or roles who are using the same chart of accounts. For all the users, the cross-validation rules are applicable. The data access set is limited to GL application only. This works in the GL. Why? Because here we map the same with the data access set. Data access functionality is applicable for general ledger. The cross-validation rules we defined against chart of accounts. We use chart of accounts everywhere in all the applications. In all the applications, this cross-validation rule is applicable. So this is the difference we have to notice. Now we'll see security rules. We'll discuss how this is different from data access set and cross-validation rules. Here my simple requirement is I have one user. For that user, I don't want to give the access to one company. I don't want to give the access. Then I can use the secure rule. I have a 10 departments. I want to give the access to only 2 departments. Remaining 8 departments, I don't want to give the access. I can use the secure rule. Or else I have 1,000 accounts. I want to give the access to only 2 accounts. Remaining all accounts, I want to restrict. Yes, I can use the secure rule. So with a secure rule, you can set a rule which values are allowed. Okay, which values are allowed for specific user. Like it is similar to data access set only, but in the data access set, you can set read only and read and write permissions. But here, you can give only read only permissions, but you can give that permissions for any segment related values. But data access set is applicable only for balance and segment values. But two type of permissions we have in case of data access set, read and write and read only. But in the security rule, we can set only read and write. You can give access. You cannot say read only access. If you give access, that is read and write. By using the secure rule, you can define the rule on which segment values, any segment values. But data access set only for balance of segment values. So simply this we call as SR. Cross-validation rules we are calling as CVR. This we call as SR. So what is the difference between SR and CVR? The CVR we set certain code combination as invalid. In case of SR, there is no code combination. The individual values only. You can choose any segment. For that, you can set the secure rule as what values are allowed and which values are not allowed. Here, cross-validation rules we are setting at chart of accounts level that is applicable for all the users who are using the same chart of accounts. But this we set up and we associate with a specific user. So for that user only, this is applicable. Okay. So this is the difference we have to notice. Now we'll see what setups we have to complete to implement this functionality. Okay. So what we will do is we'll create the simple rule. I'll say I want to set a rule allow department 1000. That's all. For specific user, I want to give the permissions to access only department 1000. Remaining departments I don't want to allow. In the same way, you can set which companies are allowed to use, which accounts are allowed to use. This is how you can set, so that that user will be able to record the transaction with those values only. You can set SR on every segment. Okay, now we'll create the simple SR, simple rule. The rule is allow department 1000. That's all. I want to give the access to only department 1000 for specific user. Okay, done. Now first we have to, with the same rule, we have to create a security rule. Say create security rule. And we have to assign the security rule to specific role. Okay. We'll go and assign this to specific role. Sorry. And before that, you can just what we can do is we'll create security rule, and this rule we will map to specific role. Okay, we have to assign this role to specific. Sorry, we have to assign this rule to specific role. This security rule should work for which role we have to assign. Say assign SR security rule to specific role. Okay, specific role. Again, this security rule also you can implement for any application. You can assign the security rule for GL roles or AP roles or AR roles. For any application roles you can assign. So after this, what you can do is you can create the user, you can assign the same role to the user, and you can provide the ledger access. That is a very routine task. What you can do is the secure role you want to apply for which user, want to implement for which user. That user you may just assign to existing user, or let's create new user. Let's create new user. Say to test this, we'll create user. Let's call it as SRMX. Okay, we are going to test secure role. Create user as a SRMX and assign role. Assign role to user. After assigning the role to user, that role we have to assign our primary ledger, right? So assign primary ledger to user role, then run it. Okay, run LDAP, then create journal and we can test. So when we are going to implement this security rule for first time, if it is not going to work, is recommended to run deployment, FlexField deployment. You can run the deployment, but ideally not required. If required, you can run one time. That's all. Here we will assign the security rule to which role we can choose one of the role. Say we can go and assign this secure role to general accounting manager. So general accounting manager. Okay, to general accounting manager, we'll assign this rule. So now first we'll create the security role. Go to our implementation project, overview, project. So search for security rule. sorry, it's not true, not secure rule. So to create the secure rule, what we have to do is you have to go to the task called as value set tasks. The value set, we are trying to create the secure rule for department. Now you have to go to department related value set. Sorry, not task. Separate task is not there for security rule creation. That need to be secured rule. We have to create against value set. For which value set values you want to set secured rule, you have to go to that value set. Go to value set task, chart of accounts, value sets. Okay, any task you can choose. Manage chart of accounts value sets. Click on go. Now we want to implement security rules on department segment value. So go to department value set. Since we loaded this information through rapid implementation, we know the format. Company name is Amex. So the segment name is department. How you can see in the system? First, you can see the format of the value set is department segment name plus company name. Amex. Search. This one somebody created. This is ours. Select our value set. Click on edit. Now we want to implement security rule for department related segment values. So enable security. Okay, here we have one checkbox called as enable security. Once you enable the security here, this field will be open and edit data security tab also will be enabled. Say enable security. Now here you can write the name, just Amex SR, any text you can write, then you can save. Enable security enable checkbox we have to, what happened? Save it. It's somebody already created with this. Save it. Any name you can give, whatever the name I entered already, that is exists in this environment. I just given the name as SR. Now click on, after saving, this tab will be enabled. Now click on edit data security. With this tab you can create the security rule for this value set. Click on edit data security. Here we have a condition tab and policy tab. Now under condition tab, we are going to create the condition. Click on create. Just click on create. So create. Fine. So you can give the name as Amex Allo 1000 department. And this is a name we are giving for condition. The condition section, click on add. So column name, select as value. and operator. Okay, operator, what we want to say, allow 1000. Okay, allow 1000, you can say equal to. Equal to means the department value. Okay, we are creating against this value set called as department. You can say equal to, or else you can say in the negative expression. So not equal to, if you say not equal to specific value, remaining all values will be allowed. If I say equal to, what are the values I am going to specify, those only allowed, remaining all automatically system will off, won't allow. Say equal to, which value we discussed, 1000. Here you cannot find the values which are available, you have to enter. That's all. Now I am just setting the condition equal to 1000. That means allow 1000 only. Remaining all automatically system won't display. It won't allow the user to record the transactions. This is how it will work. Now you can say save. Go to policy tab. Click on create. Here you can give the name. Select start date, today's date. Okay, module is general ledger. Go to role. Go to role. Here you can select the role. A condition you want to apply for which role. Before you search, you can select application as a FSCM, Finance and Supply Chain Management related role. Here you can search for general. Okay. We planned to assign to specific role, right? General accounting manager. Select it. So general accounting manager is the role. Say apply. Select and say apply. Click on OK. So ORAGL General Accounting Manager. Now we assign. We select a role. To which role this rule should be applicable? What is the rule? Go to rule tab. So just now one condition we created, right? The same condition we have to select here. Click on search. It should display here. Yeah. This is the one. We are not searching since only one we have. It is showing. Select it. So within that only we have a condition. Within the condition we specified allow only 1000 that we are assigning to this role. Okay. The rule, we create a rule as a condition. That rule we are assigning to this role. Now you can save this. So save and close. Save. Now click on submit. Now security rule we created. Okay, we created rule and we assign that rule to one of the role. To test that, okay, create user. The same role is assigned to our current user also. But reality how we have to set up, we have to understand. So we'll go through the process. So let's create separate user. Go to users, say add user account. The name is SRMX, right? SRMX. So to which role we assigned our security rule, that role you can assign to this user. So general accounting manager. To this role only we assign that role. Assign this role to this user and set the password. So save and close. Now to this role we have to assign the primary ledger. Okay. Go to task called as data access for users. Task list, search, data access for users. So manage data access for users. Okay. Create a rule. We assign the rule to one of the role. We created a user. To that user we assign the same role to which role already we assigned the security rule. Now we are assigning our primary ledger to the same role, whatever we assign to this user and the security rule mapping. So create username is SRMX. Only one role is assigned. Select the same. So what is the name of our primary ledger? Max USA primary ledger. So save and close. After this assignment, we have to run the LDAP job. Go to scheduled processes, tools, scheduled processes. Click on schedule new process. Search for LDAP job. LDAP. Select retrieve latest LDAP changes and say OK. Okay. Okay, let's wait for 1 minute. Then we can proceed with this. Okay, still it is running. No issues. You can just sign out and log in as a SR Amex user. Just sign out. Now log in as a SR Amex. As per our SR, this user can have access to only department 1000. We'll go and check. So we assigned only one role, that is General Accounting Manager. We'll go to Journals task, task list. So create journal. See, if you check the departments, showing all, that means we have to perform the deployment. Okay. As per our SR, only 1000 is allowed. You have to submit this for deployment. Let's try, or else there is any synchronization issue. It should display only this 1000. Okay, we'll go and submit the deployment process. We know that takes time. We'll submit and we'll proceed with other concept. Once deployment is completed, we'll verify this functionality. Okay, this will go and submit the deployment. Just make a note of that task also here. If it doesn't work, then you can submit the deployment. Okay, it will take some time, right? We'll proceed with our task. Here, maybe some other users are working. Yeah, another user is currently editing deployment and all. We'll see that. Okay, let it take its own time. After some time, we'll verify. Okay, we have setups at the user that need to be deployed. Once that is deployed, the secure rule function will start working. Okay. Another user is currently editing and all. Somebody is just working on that. No issues. We'll check after some time. Okay, by the time the other user can submit the deployment, that's how our changes also would reflect. Okay, we done with the setups. Okay, we'll see this expected results after some time. Okay. Meantime, we'll proceed with other topic. So, secure rule, ledger set. Okay, the concept name is ledger set. What does it mean by ledger set? Say, for example, you have one role called as general accounting manager or accountant. To this role, you want to assign this role to one user. That user required access to 10 ledgers. If you want to assign 10 ledgers, what you have to do is say user is ABC. So that user required access to general accounting manager, that too for 10 ledgers. In that case, what we have to do is now this is how for each ledger we have to each combination we have to assign one ledger. Say primary ledger 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So this is how we have to assign. Total how many records we are creating? 10 records we are creating. Instead of doing like this, what you can do is you can group all these 10 ledgers that you can call as ledger set 10. This is the name you can use. Okay. By grouping all this, you can create the ledger set. Now what you can do is you can select user and you can select the role and you can assign the ledger set to this role so that this user can have access to 10 ledgers to perform the transactions as general accounting manager. That is the advantage of ledger set. If ledger set, if you don't create the ledger set, each ledger you have to assign separately to the same user and same role. That is a big task. Instead of assigning the multiple ledgers multiple times to the same user, same role, you can group all of them and you can assign in one go. Okay. So you can group multiple ledgers and you can assign that ledger set to specific user and the role combination. But if you want to group the ledgers into ledger set, there is a condition. In how many ledgers of chart of accounts, in how many primary ledgers or how many ledgers the calendar and the chart of accounts are same, those only you can group. Say in primary ledger 1 and in primary ledger 5, in primary ledger 9, you have same calendar and the same chart of accounts. Now these three only you can group, remaining you cannot group. And say in primer ledger 3 and primer ledger 7 and primer ledger 10, we have same calendar and the same chart of account. Now these three we can group. So which ledgers of calendars and the chart of accounts are same, those only you can group into ledger set. That is a condition. Okay. So you have a 20 ledgers. How many ledgers of calendars and the chart of accounts are matching? Those only you can group with the concept called as ledger set. Okay, this is the point we have to notice. Now, if you want to group ledgers, we require few more ledgers. Okay, we required few more ledgers. So we have only one primer ledger. Let's create one more ledger. Before that, what setups we have to perform? Let's see. Okay, what setups we are going to do, we'll see. So to test this functionality, we'll create one more ledger. One more ledger. Say, when you create one more ledger to test this functionality, you have to use the same calendar and chart of accounts, which already we are using in our primer ledger. That's very important. If calendar and chart of accounts are not matching, there is no use of the new ledger which you are creating. We cannot use for grouping. Say create UAE primary ledger. For any country you can create, but choose same calendar, same chart of accounts. Reality, the calendar may not be true for that country, but for a testing purpose we can use it. So create UAE primary ledger. In this UAE primary ledger, we are going to use same calendar and chart of accounts whatever we have in our USA primary ledger. So once this primer ledger is ready, when you talk about primer ledger, we'll create the primer ledger, we'll set the ledger options. That is a known thing for us, right? We don't need to write that as set ledger options, not required. So simply create UAE primer ledger. Once UAE primer ledger is ready, you can create the ledger set. So create ledger set. Okay. So create ledger set. To give the access to this ledger set, we'll create the separate user. Create user who need access to ledger set. Okay, which user required access to ledger set? Let's create that user. Say ledger set mx ls ledger set mx. Fine. Sorry. Okay, create user as a lsmx. Then to that user we have to assign the GL roles. So assign GL roles to user. To the same GL role we have to assign our ledger set. So assign ledger set to user roles. Then submit LDAP. So run LDAP job. And already in our primer ledger, periods are open, right? Now we have to open the periods for UAE primer ledger. Open periods in UAE primary ledger. Now to verify this ledger set functionality, you can go to journal creation page. Create journal. Go to this page so that we'll be able to see two ledgers access to this user from the same row. You don't need to assign multiple times. So this is the point we have to understand. Okay. So since the rule is calendar and chart of account should be same to group the ledgers, With the help of ledger set concept, let's create one more primary ledger with the same calendar chart of accounts, whatever we have in our USA primary. We know how to create the primary ledger. Same we are going to follow. Go to primary ledger task. Manage primary ledgers. Go. Say create. Okay, we can name it as Amex UAE primary ledger. Select same chart of account structure instance, whatever we have in our primary ledger. That is just Amex. Should be same calendar. Currency can be anything and accounting method can be anything. Currency, since we are creating for UAE, select AED. And here you may select or you can ignore. Okay, done. Then save and close. For this ledger, we have to set the ledger options, right? So go to specify ledger options task. Here click on ledger name. Select our UAE primary ledger to set the ledger options. Say select and add. Just click on apply. Ledger name is Amex. Search, use enter key. UAE primary ledger, select our UAE primary ledger and say save and close. Journal language is American English. Okay. Select retained earnings account code combination. Okay, say okay. Okay, we selected return earnings account code combination. Just say okay. Say save and close. Done. So our primary ledger is ready UAE. Now we can create the ledger set. Search for ledger set tab. The task name is manage ledger sets. Click on go to task icon. Say create. The name is Omex ledger set. So which chart of accounts calendar related ledgers you want to group? Those chart of accounts and calendars you have to choose here. This is a chart of accounts and select calendar. Okay. The same chart of accounts on calendar, how many ledgers are available in our system? It will display. Click on add. In the same calendar and chart of accounts, how many ledgers we have, we can see now. So these two only we can group. Click on add. Now we group these two. When we assign this ledger set to any user through role, at the time of transaction creation, the user will have access to these two. But which ledger system has to default? User will get access to these two. Which value need to be defaulted that you can select as a default ledger? Okay, you can select or you can ignore. I am selecting USA primary ledger system as default. If required, we can switch to UAE primary ledger. That's all. Now say save and close. So when you create the primary ledger with the same name, system creates data access set. The same is applicable for ledger set also. With the same ledger set name, it will create the data access set. Okay. When you create the primary ledger, system is creating data access set with the same name. When you create the ledger set also, you can find the same. It will create data access set. Done. Now let's create one user. Tools, security console. Users, add user account. Say ls max. Let's assign the role. So any one of the role you can assign. Say general accounting manager. Set password. We created user, we assign the role. Now we have to assign the ledger set to user role. Go to data access for users task. Create. Username is ls data access set. That is nothing but ledger name. mx ledger set. So save and close. Now this assignment need to be synchronized. We have to submit the LDAP. Okay. Just click on done. Go to schedule processes. schedule view process. Say okay. Submit. Okay. Let's wait for at least 1 minute here. So now we can see the status as a succeeded. Done. Now we'll just log into the application with this user and we'll open the periods and we'll verify. Go to task navigator, general accounting, hit close task, open the periods in UAE Prime Ledger. Here you buy single ledger or you can select ledger set also. If you select ledger set, you can see directly. In this ledger set, we have two ledgers, USA and UAE. In USA Primary Ledger, the periods are open. The UAE Primary Ledger period is not open. Let's open this. Click on this period status. Yes, Jan 21 is the first period as per our accounting calendar. Open. Now you can go to open target period. Okay. So the periods are open. Done. Now here itself you are able to see this user got access to ledger set. Okay. This user got access to ledger set. That is the reason. Okay. By selecting ledger set, this user is able to have access to two ledgers. Here you could see. But anyway, as a part of transaction also we'll see. Go to journal creation page. At the time of ledger set creation, we set a default ledger as USA Primary Ledger, right? Go to journal creation page, create journal. See, this user got access to Amex ledger set. That means this user will be able to create the journals. What are the ledgers are available within this ledger set? Now, if you want to create the journal with this USA Primary Ledger, you can create. How it is showing here directly, we selected as a default ledger at the time of ledger set creation. If you want to create the journals with UAE, yes, you can select. It should come over here. 1 second. The period status is open, right? Once period is open, then only you can see here. Select UAE. Yes, the status is open. Journals. We'll just log out and log in. Click on this drop down. Still it is not reflecting. Now here the period accounting period got selected as a March. So this you can change to current. Now it will come. Check. Okay, in UAE the March period is not open. Okay. In our ledger somebody opened that we didn't open. So it is showing up. So this is how this user is able to have access to these two ledgers because of ledger set. This is a functionality of ledger set. Sign out. Before we proceed to the next topic, we'll just go and verify SR once again. So let's hope that deployment is completed by other user. It should allow only 1000 as per our SR rule, right? Still same. I think that means deployment is not completed. We'll just try to perform the deployment again. See that. Deploy. Still same status. Some others are just working on this. Chart of accounts creation of some relevant jobs. No issue. It's already been done with the setups that has to be reflected. Okay. Not today. Tomorrow we can check this. Okay. The setups, everything we done. If you log into this user to the instance, if you go to journal creation page, system should allow us to see only this. Okay. Fine. Done. Now we'll proceed with the concept called as reporting ledger. Reporting ledger or reporting currency you can call. It's very simple to understand. So what are the transactions we are recording in our private ledger? Those always you can find in the ledger currency. The same transactions as it is if you want to report in the different currency, we require reporting ledger. Say in our private ledger we are recording all the transactions in USD. What are the transactions we are recording in USD? The same transactions if required somewhere like in different currency, for that we have to create the reporting ledger. Say here we have a primary ledger. In this we are recording the transactions in USD. The same transactions, okay, the same transactions data required in INR. For that you have to create the reporting ledger, that's all. We create the reporting ledger with INR currency. Then what are the transactions we are creating in primary ledger with USD? All the transactions will be converted into INR. That data will be available in the reporting ledger. If you create 10 transactions in primary ledger, the 10 transactions data you can see in the primary ledger in USD currency. The same 10 transactions data will go to reporting ledger and that would be available with INR currency. Say for example, the head office is there in the India. You are doing the business in US. So from the head office, they are expecting to see each and every transaction in their local currency. That means whenever you create the transaction USA primary ledger, that need to be reported to India in INR currency. In such kind of scenarios, you can create the reporting ledger. Okay. In how many currencies you can report in multiple currencies? The same USD transaction you want to report in INR, AED, GBP, multiple currencies, yes, that is possible. In our primary ledger, what are the transactions we are recording? Those transactions data need to be reported in how many currencies, those many reporting ledgers we can create. Okay, so we'll see how to create the reporting ledger so that the moment you create the transactions in our primary ledger, those would be reported to reporting ledger in reporting currency. Okay, reporting ledger means to report the primary ledger data in the different currency we are going to use, that we call as a reporting ledger. Okay, by using the reporting ledger, you can report primary ledger transactions in different currency. The different currency only reporting currency we are calling. To test this functionality, what setups required we will see. First, we have to create the reporting ledger. Say what are the transactions we are creating in our primary ledger, those need to be reported in INR. That means let's create one reporting ledger in INR. So create reporting ledger in INR. So who need access to this reporting ledger, create separate user. Create user. So this user need access to reporting ledger, right? INR reporting ledger. RL reporting ledger. I'm just giving the name. Now, to this user, we have to assign the roles to have access to the data which is coming from primary ledger. So assign real roles to user, and to this user we have to assign the reporting ledger. Assign reporting ledger to user roles and run LDAP job. Now, again, one more point, you have to open the periods also. Open periods in reporting ledger, because period should be open. Whenever data is coming from primary ledger to reporting ledger, the period should be open, then only data will come. Otherwise, data cannot be accepted into reporting ledger. Now here in primary ledger, we have data in USD, and we require same transactional data in INR. That means there should be conversion between USD to INR. So we have to define the conversion rates also. Okay, we have to define the conversion rates. So set daily rates. So once that is done, create journal in primary ledger, and you have to post it. The moment you post, it will be transferred to reporting ledger in reporting currency. Find journal in reporting ledger in reporting currency. That is nothing but INR. That's all. This is all about reporting ledger or reporting currency. So it's very simple. What are the transactions we are recording in the primary ledger in ledger currency? The same data as it is, if you want to report in the different currency, we can use the concept called as reporting ledger. In which currencies we require the reporting, accordingly how to create the reporting ledger. Right. You can create multiple reporting ledgers, so that if you create one transaction in the primary ledger, how many reporting ledgers we have against the same primary ledger, for all the ledgers data will go in the reporting currency. Accordingly how to define the derivatives. First we'll go and create the reporting ledger. Very simple task. Just we have to provide some inputs. Rest system will create automatically. Go to our implementation project. Here search for the task called as reporting currencies. Okay. So manage reporting currencies. Don't go with the proceed with the task called as secondary ledgers and all. You can just choose this task. Financials, common application configuration, define ledger, define accounting configuration. This is a path. Just click on manage reporting currencies. Manage reporting currencies, nothing but manage reporting ledger only. Click on this task. So you want to create the reporting ledger against which primary ledger. Select that primary ledger first. Okay, our primary ledger is Amex USA primary ledger. Here you could see UAE. Change it. Then say apply and go to task. We'll come back and we'll proceed. Now you can see in the selected scope our primary ledger is available. Okay, our primary ledger is available. Manage reporting currencies. Our primary ledger is available. Click on go. Against this primary ledger, we want to create the reporting ledger. That means from this primary ledger, we want to do the reporting. So click on create. What should be our reporting ledger name? So Amex INR reporting ledger. So currency conversion level, here we have to select a journal. Each and every journal information will be reported from primary ledger to reporting ledger. In which currency the reporting should take place? USD. Sorry, INR, right? You want to report in INR. And default currency conversion rate you can set as a corporate rate. Just you don't need to fill anything. Remember this name, okay? Amex INR reporting ledger. This is the name we given for our reporting ledger. Say save and close. Now with the same name, system will create the data access set. Okay, with the reporting ledger name, system will create the data access set. So save and close. What is the next step? Create user and assign any one of the role to this user. Go to user creation. So what is the name we planned? INR reporting ledger. INR reporting ledger RL. Assign one or multiple roles to this user. General accounting manager. Say save and close. Now what is the next step? We created a user, we assigned the role. Now whatever the reporting ledger we created just now, that we have to assign to this user role. Go to task called as data access for users. So not only from project, even you can just navigate from the search page. Go to search. Data access for users. Create. Username is INR or select role. So this is a reporting ledger name. We create a reporting ledger. The same name system created data access set. Save and close. Done. Now these assignments need to be synchronized. Submit LDAP. Go to schedule processes. Schedule new process. Say okay. So the status is succeeded. Done. Now we have to open the periods in reporting ledger. Okay. You can go to reporting ledger. INR reporting ledger. Go to navigator, general accounting, period close. In Amex INR reporting ledger, you can just open the periods. Say open target period, Jan 22. Okay, done. Now just make sure that daily rates are available between USD and INR for today date. We'll just go and check rates availability. If available, okay, or else we can set up the rates between USD and INR. General accounting, go to period close, and go to task list. Here you can find the task called as manage currency rates. Click on the task, go to daily rates, check the daily rates between USD and INR with the today date for corporate. It is today's date. Rate type is corporate. Search. Yes, the rate is available. Fine. Now we can create the transaction in the primary ledger that should be reported to reporting ledger in reporting currency. Let's create journal. Okay, we're done with all the setup. Now create journal and post it. If you post, then only it will be submitted to reporting ledger. If you create, it will be in the primary. The moment you post, the posting process will trigger the transfer. The posting process will verify whether rates are available or not. If available, and if the period is open in the reporting ledger, the same primary ledger transaction data it will report to reporting ledger and reporting currency. Go to task list, say create journal. Select any one of the account, or else you can pick any one of the account code combination. Search, select, okay. Here I'm entering $100. Enter credit line. Search. For our testing purpose, you can choose any one of the random code combination. Okay, click on search, it will display all the available code combinations. Select any one of the code combination and save. $100. Done.
The accounting period is March.
Sorry? Oh,
Accounting period showing is March.
yeah, sorry. Yeah. So select Java. Thank you. So save it. Okay. And complete this journal batch creation and submit for posting. Now it will verify the rates availability and the status in the reporting ledger. If everything is fine, it will transfer. And here you can see the batch status as posted. Here you can click on refresh. You can see it's posted. That means it is reported to reporting ledger. Now go to reporting ledger user. INR reporting ledger. General accounting journals. Go to task list, select manage journals task. Okay, click on search. You can find the journal which is reported to reporting ledger from primary in reporting currency. You see here. Open this. So it is reported in the reporting currency, that is INR. This is the original currency, in which currency they entered. Okay, this is entered currency, this is the reported currency. So this is the transactions can be reported from primary to reporting ledger. You can have multiple reporting currencies. Okay, but we have to make sure that the rates are available between those currencies so that every transaction what you enter in the primary ledger will be reported to reporting currency. And one more point here, just go back to the previous user Amex. Go to journal creation page. Okay, this user reassigned Amex USA primary ledger, right? Now here, so this user will have, by default, this user will have access to reporting ledger also. Here, no just need of recording the transaction, but you can see how it works. If you have access to any primary ledger, with that primary ledger, how many reporting ledgers are there, all you can see from here on. Not only that, you can see the transactions also which are reported in the reporting ledger. From here also you can see reporting, reporting ledger related journal. Here you can add additional fields, accounting date. I'm giving accounting date as today's date. Search. Same. One is in the primary, one is in the reporting. Just open this first one. See, this is in reporting. Open second one. This is in the primary. This is what we created in the primary. In dollars only. Okay. This is in reporting ledger. Means from primary ledger, if you have access to primary ledger, how it is reported to reporting ledger, you will be able to see. Okay. When you have a primary ledger access, by default, you will get reporting ledger access also. But in reality, we create separate user will give the access. If you want to give the reporting ledger access, the user should have access to primary ledger also by default. That is the reason. Okay, we'll create separate user and we'll provision the access to reporting ledger only from that user. That's how we can just. So this secured rule we done with the setups. The result is pending. That synchronization should happen. I mean, the deployment process, the validation should take place. Let it be. We'll check later. Okay. Maybe when we are working on the tomorrow sessions of concept, we will go and verify once again. That will be definite. Okay. Some other users are working on the same instance for data for constellation, etc. That is the reason we are not able to submit deployment. Once deployment is done, we can check that. So that tomorrow session will proceed with other topics also. One by one will proceed.